to start with visualization in Excel. And when someone says visualization, they basically try and point to either report or a dashboard. And so I'm going to cover key differences between what is a report and what is a dashboard. And what we are going to cover is dashboard specifically, and there are several parts that makes up a dashboard. We are going to cover each one of them briefly, and then we will move to charts. So what is a report? Report is an in-depth document which will have raw data, analysis, thought process, results, analytics, and advisory on what action has to be taken in order to do something, right? So that's a report, right? When you are reporting something about a specific business use case or any use case for that matter. A dashboard, on the other hand, consists of visuals. It consists of metrics. It consists of tabular data, filters, and everything. And so dashboard is a visually appealing place where you have your data to be shown to an end user, right? So in a dashboard we can have summary statistics, so mean, median, mode, or total or sum, or count, or averages, min, max, and so on, right? All types of visuals which we are going to cover next in the upcoming sheets. KPIs. So what is a KPI? Key performance indicator. So a KPI is a very specific metric that helps you understand what or where the business is going, right? For example, if you have a store, right, and you have some sales there, right? Sales or revenue could be your KPI depending on your target, right? Profit also could be your KPI, or it could be what is per rupee profit, that can also become your KPI. So depending on your use case, whether you want to increase sales and are not bothering a lot about profit, or you want to increase profit irrespective of how much sales do you do, or a combination of both, right? Depending on those use cases, you can have different kinds of performance indicators, which we call them as KPIs. So for each business use case, you will have to identify a KPI or a combination of KPI that will actually help you to judge where the business is going. Tabular data, so simple tables, preferably very small tables, in cases where either the visual is not making sense or the data is too little that it does not have an impact on the end user's readability. And filters, of course, since dashboard is sort of a snapshot of the data, right? You might want to go through different dimensions or different values within the data and see this exact same picture for each of these values, right? So filters are very important. Filters could have dates in them. It could have numeric filters as well, text filters as well, which we have already seen in the previous videos. Dimensions, so it's not a very specific part of the dashboard, but when I say dimensions, is overall design of what you want to show on the dashboard, right? So you may have tens, hundreds of dimensions in your data, but choosing the correct one which will reflect or which will be in sync with the end user is an art in itself, right? So choosing those dimensions that make sense for the specific case for which you are creating the dashboard is very important, and that is something that you have to learn with experience. There is no hard rule book in order to help anyone to get to a point where you can easily choose dimensions, right? It has to come from experience. right? So these are all very specific parts that create a dashboard, right? And what we are going to do next is to cover visuals, which are specific charts for specific use cases, right? So just like choosing dimensions, we have to choose our own visuals as well. And uh, it's very important, while you're choosing the visual, you have to keep in mind exactly what you are going to convey as your message, right? So if you want to say that I want to compare apples to oranges, right, how do you do that? What kind of visual you have to choose, right? So I have taken all the major charts that are available in Excel. If you are using an older version of Excel, you might not see some of them, but in general, knowledge of all these types of charts will help you to understand exactly what to choose and when. Right. So let's start with the column bar chart. Right. Um, uh, just a disclaimer, the data that I'm going to show it on, it's dummy data, of course, and it's very small data, so that you have a grasp of exactly what is going to happen, right? You can see the data as well as visual, and these data points are very readable, right? So let's go through the statement, and this will be the general structure for all the sheets, so that you understand that I have a case statement, which is why do we use this chart, and then data, and then I'll insert the chart so that you can see exactly how it looks like. So use case, compare sales numbers for different products, right? So when do we use a column bar chart? We use the column bar chart in order to compare numbers among or between values, right? So, or products or objects, whatever, right? So we have 5 products and we want to compare the sales of all these products, right? So obviously, because this is very small data, you can understand that product D has the highest sales, and product E has the lowest sales, right? And so on. So what we're going to do is we go to insert, right? And we have the column chart here, and we choose whichever makes sense for the use case, right? So column charts has different derivations of the chart as well. We will cover these in the tasks, the projects that you're going to do. Right now my purpose is to showcase that these are available in Excel, and there are specific use cases when you use them. So let me click on this one, and you would immediately see the column chart is there, right? You have y-axis, the vertical axis, which starts from 0 to 9,000, which is a little higher than what we have as the max value. Of course, based on these values, the chart will change. So let's say instead of 8,000, I do 18,000. Right? The chart will automatically change, and the y-axis, the scale of this y-axis will also change. Okay? So based on that, you can easily identify, okay, product E is indeed the highest one, product E is the lowest one, and so on. Okay, so okay, now when you select a chart, just like pivot, we have 2 contextual tabs that appear: chart design and format, right? So chart design will help you to add design elements, colors, different kinds of widths or length or information on the chart, as well as select or deselect or change the data source that you have selected, right? You can also change the chart type if you wish to. Let's say I change it to line chart. I can do it from here, but let's go back to column chart. Okay, move chart will basically help you to move the chart either into a new sheet or like to a different place.